All right. Thanks everyone for joining. This is our synchronous retrospective. We've been we have asynchronous retrospectives as well, but I thought I wanted to try maybe a synchronous one this time just to get people's feedback and try to get a little more engagement. Um, yeah. So thank you for being here and thanks for participating. For the retrospective, we really want to kind of reflect on the past milestone, 1611, kind of identified what worked, what didn't, what areas we can improve. And then, yeah, just wanted to say, everyone is opinion is super valuable. I don't suspect it'll be a problem, but we won't, no blaming or anything here. I just want a lot of open and respectful communication. Yeah. So yeah, I thought maybe we'd start with just kind of a review of the last milestone, 1611. There is this retrospective issue at the top. There's a list of things that we shipped, which is nice. There's a kind of a good long list. So you can kind of take a look at that. Yeah, I think we did pretty well overall. Um, does anyone have initial thoughts about kind of what we shipped, and um, we'll start there. If not, all right, we can move on. So I think what I want to spend most of the time doing here then is kind of going through a couple of things of kind of what went well, if there was any challenges that people had, and what we can do to improve. And kind of really the goal is to um, we're kind of a new team. We have a lot of new people. I want to make sure we're also a large team, so I want to make sure we're efficient. We have processes that make sense, that aren't getting in the way, that help us achieve our goals. And so I'm really looking to just kind of iterate on um, how we work, and if there's ways we can improve, I'm always open to suggestions. So um, yeah, maybe we'll start and spend, the first 10 minutes or something just talking about all the stuff that went well. Um, so yeah, um, thank you for people who are starting to add things here. This is great. So maybe just real quick, we can kind of go down that list. So Vitaly, you want to start?
Yeah, well, yeah. So I finally managed to test like two out of three features, big features we have. Well, and two, it's code generation and code suggestions because while testing, there are still some differences on the local host. So one part was working and our part wasn't working. So we fixed. So the only part left is X-ray, and faced some challenges below a little bit about them, and yeah. And second part, I think we have implicit approval to proceed with code suggestions context, even though I've calculated the Redis memory usage way higher when we have now because I've misread the number of requests per 5 minutes we have. So we have way less. So even with over calculated numbers, there is a comment somewhere saying what it's fine, this amount of memory we still have at GitLab and we can proceed. So yeah. Uh, should I jump to
Good.
improvements or we will get later to it? Yeah,
Uh,
we'll do later.
let's go through the other few things on this list first.
Yeah, makes sense.
Alan, you had a couple.
Yeah, I think the roadmap really seems to be coming into focus with our goals, for the next few months. And so I think that went really well. And then Claude 3 got enabled, which seems to be a positive change. So that was good.
Yeah, definitely. Now that's rolled out to all of our users, so it'll be interesting to see what the results are there. So that's great. Mikoa,
Yeah, so shout out to Alan and the cloud-free. The results were really impressive. Thanks for pushing this work through. Around the shoutouts, I also want to give shout out to Tian for contributing to X-Ray scanner repository. It's good to see you contributors there. And other things that went well, I think that the collaboration with the model validation groups is starting on a good ground or a good term. They're excited to see new contributions and they provided insightful feedback. So I'm hopeful, looking forward that we will be able to work with them well and get a nice results out of that.
Yeah, thank you. Good. What other things do people have? Anything else that went well?
Yeah, I guess I would just say I was enjoying that, like especially the last week, there's been a lot of questions asked and answered in the team channel, which is nice to see because I feel like we're running into a lot of the same things. So it's cool to be able to help each other out.
Yeah, thanks. Okay. Moving on. All right. So yeah, what challenges are people facing? Yeah, this is yeah. We'll start with Alan. You had the first one.
Yeah, we got X-ray working, and then our sales team, when they went to use it, were pretty much immediately like, "Hey, this doesn't work." Um, and it took a while to get an answer for them about what we were going to do about it. Um, and I think, some of that is external factors. We lost a product guy in the middle of that, like all that stuff. So it's not really a blame thing so much as just like maybe a process for improvement could be had there for like when people give us clear feedback. Because this wasn't a case of the uncertainty of working with AI. This was just a straight up like feature not enabled kind of bug, or not even a bug. It's just that the way we design the product doesn't work for how we actually want to use it, which I consider a bug, but it's arguable. And
Sure.
so yeah, like just some process improvement there, or just bringing up that happened.
Yeah, that's good. When these kind of things happen, like is there something like I could have done better or we could have done better as a team? What do you think? Or what does anyone think?
I think just and I'm not even sure, like I said, I don't think it's an individual blame situation as much as just like recognizing that it's a business need and that's important and should have a turnaround time of a few days, not like 2 months. I think
Right.
uh, I really think that's my key takeaway.
Sure. No, that makes sense.
Yeah, I
Does
also
anyone
think
else
that
have?
took us a while to really notice this, like the urgency of the matter. I believe that we get the first signals even in 16.10. There was this first issue created about the trials and the how to enable salespeople. And we keep rescheduling this issue, and we only like give it proper traction and attention, like in the recent weeks, towards the end of 16.11, where it was actually scheduled for 16.11. So maybe we need some better issue triage. I think we haven't applied the severity and priority levels, which would may help just selecting this issue from the board and starting this conversation sooner. So we may be doing better job on the triaging issues.
Yeah, I think that's a good one. Yeah, I feel like I was waiting a little bit for maybe Derek wasn't clear on the problem so much. And like, I think we the two of us kind of dropped the ball a little bit on what were the next steps and who was waiting on it. So yeah, I think just understanding that this was a higher priority would have helped. Yeah. Good. Jan, you have the next one.
Yeah,
I can keep
so
typing for you. Yeah.
yeah, so when I was discussing the change in sending the code completion requests, uh, this involves feedback from multiple teams like Cloud Connector and some other teams, and also on Cloud Connector side, it changes the way how requests should be authenticated. So Cloud Connector also needs to verify this change with security team, which means that our priority depends on feedback from Cloud Connector team, which is completely fine, and the response was really great. But then also for them, it may not be such a high priority as for us. And then they need to check something else with another team, in this case, application security team. So in this case, it has ended up on me waiting for Cloud Connector team, but not for a long time because it was really fast response. But they needed to wait for application security team, and for them, this had perhaps a little bit lower priority, or it was also because of summit and vacation and stuff like this. And perhaps it was not clear that for us this is a bit higher priority. So this chain of delegation actually caused some unnecessary delays, which might not happen if the communication would be more direct or something. In this case, it helped if I pinged directly the involved people, but of course it was after some time because I usually give them some time to respond. But yeah, uh, actually, at the end, it ended up with, for example, weekly delays just waiting for feedback, which could be avoided. So I think this is something to count with. I'm not sure if there is a good solution for this. Uh, yeah, but that was the experience.
Good. Okay. Yeah, I'm happy that we're finally getting we got some resolution on that, but yeah, it did take a long time. Um, Good. What other thanks for that feedback. Are there other challenges people ran into?
And the
Or for
next
people
point, it
who, oh
can be
yeah.
considered as a challenge
Oh,
as
sure.
well for me. So yeah, so basically while trying to test everything on these cells, I need to configure a lot of things, and I go through documentation. And the thing is, there is a lot of mm, pieces like missed from the documentation or assumed, and it's probably natural because person who writes documentation will have some knowledge about this, and they probably unintentionally leave some stuff behind. But when the person jumps and don't know about this topic, there is a lot of unclear parts, and you need to either discover them by yourself. And yeah, so I was thinking maybe we can once a month, I don't know, once a quarter, go through our docs, review them, and maybe clarify some unclear moments. Especially now with a lot of new team members, you have fresh eye on this. And if you see something which is not clear, ping someone, ask questions, and open merge request to update documentation because there is a lot of stuff. So, and yeah, with cells was like you need to configure this one and this one, and where is requirements, and some of them requirements are like too much because I need to create account on Cloudflare, which I didn't need in the end. So, but where is requirements? And if I go step by step, I would like just dive too much. And yeah, sometimes things look clear for the author of docs, but it doesn't for the rest. I have example of one of from our docs about X-ray. It's not something to blame, but so we have this line like prerequisites for X-ray. We need to configure GitLab runner because this and that. But how? We don't provide a link, and I have no idea what is this runner. And I was trying to configure it's like 7 types of them, different one. I have no idea which one to pick. So maybe we can look into this area. Yeah. Yeah, but to summarize, if there is something unclear, yeah, feel free to edit. It's probably would be better to have a little bit more stuff in the docs, and it can help save time to someone.
Yeah, that's great. For all the people who started in the last month or two, how's the onboarding process been going? Are there areas we can improve in that?
Um, can you guys hear me? Okay. I'm having
Yeah.
issues with my webcam. Yeah, okay. No, so like onboarding was honestly pretty smooth except for the AI gateway setup stuff. It was very unclear, like the Google Cloud part of that README. And actually Anna updated it and literally fixed all my issues. But yeah, that was really like the only hiccup.
That's good. Yeah. Excellent. Anyone else? Marvin, Tian, Anna?
So this is like a little higher level, but one thing I heard in multiple conversations with folks is like that they kind of like got through a bunch of like onboarding stuff and kind of like, whatever, let's move on. Or like even like, you know, saw it more as suggestions. For me, I didn't see it as suggestions until like later on. And I was like, oh, like I should have earlier just like sort of said, okay, this is where I can find things rather than trying to like literally read every um every point on the list. So I just wonder if
Sure.
like going forward, like maybe we can give folks that advice up front, like, skim, bookmark, skip where you need to, knowing that you can come back to it later.
Yeah, so that's my feeling as well. I agree with Anna. Yeah, other than that, I think all the informations are extensive. So I think that's a good go-to place even after onboarding. Yeah.
Okay. Good. Um, yeah. What other are there other um areas for improvement people have?
Just to continue the last point, it sounds like we need a quick start or a TLDR version of what we have right now.
Yeah.
Does anybody volunteer to take this up as an action item?
I would say the newer people who have most recently went through the onboarding steps are probably the best candidates for this because, like my setup, I set up 6 months ago and it's fairly different now.
Yeah,
Yes.
I mean, like a TLDR of the onboarding issue.
Are
That's
we
right.
talking about team specific onboarding issue or company specific?
Team specific and also project specific. For example, it could be just the AI gateway, and like these are the bare minimum steps you need to do to get it running locally.
Yeah, I think team specific is mostly, it's not well optimized. We just put a lot of information because we just started recently and we're just putting information we have there. And yeah, maybe we need to reorganize it, regroup somehow. It's a good idea.
All right, since I proposed the idea, I volunteer my name if somebody else wants to pair with me. No, nobody?
I'll pair with you.
Cool. All right.
Thank you. Yeah, that would be super helpful. Yeah, and part of that could be, yeah, the team onboarding doc or issue template is, yeah, like Billy said, we just kind of dumped everything in there that we thought of or we ran into. So now is probably a good time to refresh that. Even if we're not hiring a ton anymore, there might be one more person starting. So having a good list would be helpful. And maybe marking things as kind of optional or for future reference too would be good. Good. Okay. This was quick. Did people find a synchronous retrospective useful? Was it useful to meet like this and talk as a group?
Yeah, I prefer this because to be honest, I get so many notifications that I totally miss the async retro ones.
Good. All right. Yeah, I'm all for that. Yeah, we can get it kind of into the rhythm too. Yeah, and maybe I'll just link this agenda document to the retrospective issue, so then we have it there too, so we have a kind of a copy of it. Good. So yeah, I'll set these up on a kind of a regular basis, and then we can revisit it going forward as well and see as long as it's useful for people and people like it, I'm happy to keep doing these. We just have a couple minutes left. Does anyone else have anything else that went well? Any challenges? Anything we can try to improve?
Yeah, no, two points. I had a
Yeah.
praise for Anna because I proposed doing the Devin AI spike and I totally was hands off, and she took the lead, and we're making good progress there. That's one. Second, for you, Matt, we have a large team now. Is there something we can do to make your job simpler?
Probably. Yeah. So the hardest part, I think, is just kind of managing all the issues and making sure they're in the right state and moving through the process. So I haven't like assigned issues, but they're all in the right milestone. So if you can kind of pick up the ones that are interesting to you or that you think are important, that's great. I would rather not assign them, and I think people seem to like to kind of pick for themselves. But then also let me know, not just for this milestone, but future ones, like what's important, what am I missing, what needs to get done that maybe we haven't been thinking about. So bring those kind of things up, and we can talk about it as a team. We can create issues as needed, just so I feel like there's a lot of great ideas, and we just need to make sure we're remembering all of them as we're doing like planning and everything. So I could use help with that too. Just we have a large team of people who are deep into the AI stuff and are users of it and are thinking a lot about it. So if there's ways we can improve, new features we should be adding or thinking about, yeah, please bring them up. We can get them planned. All right. Thanks, everyone. This was fast and furious. But yeah, we can also talk about if we want to go longer at some point. I also don't like having hour-long meetings. So um, we'll uh, we'll try this again next milestone too, and we'll keep iterating in the process. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.